Okay, well that's my grocery shopping done, and I must say that things have increased in price a lot. Although I did get some big items, so I expected it to be a little over 2,000, but it was just a few pesos short of 3,000, which was a little shock. Fortunately, I always over-allow when I'm going there, so I always over-allow because I don't want to be embarrassed by people looking on and saying, yeah, and there was this farmer and he couldn't afford to pay for his groceries. So I had the money to be able to do it. I'm going to pull over and let this ambulance go by. But that's the thing that they don't seem to do here. I know that in the UK, in the US, in Australia, you see an ambulance behind you and you move over. So anyway, back to my little trip. I shop at the big store. It's the only big store in Talibon, so that's where you go. That's where I go for everything. Now, I think you do pay a little more to be able to go there. So it's very convenient to go in and they have everything. But what always amazes me every time I go is how nice people are to you. Now you'd think after 10 years of living here and pretty well 10 years of living in Bohol, you'd think I'd be used to it and taking it for granted. I can't. I just can't take it for granted that if you ask someone, if you ask a staff member for their help. Now, sometimes if you ask a guy and perhaps he's a little bit challenged on English, he'll beg off the easy way and say, oh, so you go to him and say, I'm looking for, I don't know, I'm looking for eggs, and he'll say, oh, that's a bad example. But if you said that you were looking for pepper, sorry sir, we're out of stock. But that's rare. But if you go to one of the sales ladies, they do everything to help you. It's almost like they take you by the hand and take you to where the product is that you need, and if it's not quite what you want, they'll look everywhere, high and low, to find what will make you happy. Now, the example that I just love to give, we're going to focus a little bit because I'm overtaking. But the example that I love to give is when Beth, we were in a very, very busy time, and we were partnering with the police, the PNP, and we both had such a lot to do. And I was in town, and she said, "Can you go and buy me a dress for the occasion?" How on earth she should trust me to buy a dress, I don't know. But this is where the people come in. So I don't know. I mean, I'll know when I see it, but to be able to pick it out from the shelves or the hanging spaces, I know that it's not going to work for me. So I go to a group of sales ladies that are standing there, who immediately come forward to help me, and I explained my problem, and I said, I think what we need is a sales lady who is about so high, which is what Beth is, and who weighs 50 kilos. Now, I knew at the time that Beth weighed 50 kilos. So I said, we need someone who weighs 50 kilos. Now, you would think that they would say to me, sir, you must be joking. We're not here to do that, you know. But they didn't. There's a frantic search, and finally they bring back someone who looks about the same size and shape as Beth. And then 3 of them take me to where the dresses are and show, how do you like this one? How do you like that one? And just do everything for me. And as soon as I say, well, I like this one, I think I'd better take 2 just in case. So I take 2 different dresses. The little lady that is standing in for Beth actually tries the dresses on over her uniform, which actually in our tourists the uniforms are quite close fitting, so it worked fine. She tries the dresses on, takes me, and then they take me to the cash desk and hand it. It's just, but it's not that they do that, it's that they are so pleasant. Now, you know, maybe when I was in my 20s or early 30s, I might fool myself into thinking, oh, it's because I'm so good looking. I don't. People are just nice here. Now, just to show you, I shouldn't end on a bad spot, but when I was in Florida, I was doing some work on a patio. I was designing and building a patio for someone who had a pool enclosure and didn't want a pool. So I built him an entertainment area that he could have a lot of woodwork and tile work. So he insisted that I get all of the paint from this particular store, the paint store. And I went there the first time. I had the shade that he wanted, and there, of course, anywhere, Home Depot or anything like that, any of the paint stores, they all have a computerized system for making up the exact shade. And so he did that, and he made that up. And when I used that, I had to go back for some more. Not sure now whether it was on the 2nd or the 3rd time that I went. Probably the 3rd time, because I didn't have the label off the can. The man was actually rude to me. He told me, listen, I'm not here to do this for you time and time again. He's selling me paint from his store. He said, I'm not here, we're not here to do this, you know, just for you. Not sure whether I told him what he could do with his paint, but of course I couldn't, because the customer had insisted that the paint come from there. But I'm pretty sure that I must have said to him, well, you won't have to worry about this again, because if I go to Home Depot, they'll do it there with a smile. So, never went back to that store again. But it's indicative of the difference. And I always remember that when Beth and I went to Hong Kong for a vacation, and while we were there, we noticed that, I don't know why, but the people were colder, just not as friendly. We stood in the train. Every single person in my eyesight had a phone and was looking at the phone. The only people that spoke to us were Filipino. I remember advising anyone, if you're going on a dual holiday where you're going to go to 2 places, the Philippines and Hong Kong, do yourself a favor, go to Hong Kong first, because if you go to the Philippines, people here will ruin you for going to Hong Kong, because by contrast, everyone is your best friend compared to how it was for us in Hong Kong. We were there for a week, and our impression of this being the case didn't change for the entire week. In fact, we went to a restaurant. We must have sat in the wrong place or something. Didn't seem like anybody wanted to even serve us. But anyway, I wanted this to be a praise of the people of the Philippines rather than bashing the people of Hong Kong. But these things you tend to remember. And now, I have to say, you know that thing of it's become a very hackneyed phrase now. But you hear it, you do seem to hear it all the time, especially if you go on any of the motivational sites, and they'll say, you know, you create your own reality. You know, if you go out and you think you've got a bad hair day, boy, you go out and drive angry and you'll find somebody else with a bad hair day, and it won't be pretty. So I know that you do actually create the day that you're going to have, because very often if something happens and I'm not in a great mood, I will take a moment to sit in the truck and to play some favorite music. I have the Il Diva, I think it's Il Diva, which I listen to their music all the time, and they always put me in a good mood. And I know that that's the best way to arrive in Talibon and get out and interact with people, is to be feeling good, in a good mood, and expecting that people will reciprocate. And for me, they always do. I'm sure that if you've listened to any of our other videos, all the way through that is, you will have heard me say how I met a neighbour who was always a particularly abrasive person, and I got stuck making small talk on the sidewalk that was too hard to pass without saying something, and I remember it was an absolutely beautiful day, and I remember saying to this person, wow, I've seen so many beautiful girls today. This guy talk, isn't it? I've seen so many beautiful girls today. And he turned and didn't miss a beat. He said, I've seen so many ugly women. It's all in how you look at the world, isn't it? So please, don't forget to like, comment. Please comment. I'd love to see your comments, and I always add something to them. So do that. But the other thing is, like. It's a very small thing to ask. Like and subscribe, and it makes a huge difference to the work that we do, to the channel that we run for people's entertainment. It makes an enormous difference, because the artificial intelligence who calculate the logarithms or whatever they calculate, whatever other isms they have, they take notice of this, and they will guide people to us who are searching for any particular kind of thing that we might fit into. So please like, comment and subscribe. Bye for now.